the promises that the government makes. The registration is for Kenyans aged 6 years and above. There is no new data that the government is looking for, according to a government official, which is kind of like, I think, untruthful, because there's kind of like DNA they're looking for, a lot of stuff, iris patterns, ELO patterns, and many other things. They say that the only difference is digital and biometric. Biometric, I think it's fingerprint also, and we had that by 1915. So what makes this one different? There is something different about this one. They say Huduma Namba is useful for the following: national planning, social services, project resource allocation, and project infrastructure. That to disperse funds such as welfare, healthcare, housing, and agriculture, to disperse welfare to the elderly, school children, and the disabled, to disperse benefits to members of the, let's say, the housing project, SMEs, and farmers. They need this Huduma Namba. To promote socialism in Kenya, they need this Huduma Namba. That's basically what they're saying. Because all of these benefits, all of this welfare, that's socialism. And guess who did socialism in the past? The colonialists. Because they gave us schools, they gave us roads, and they gave us railways. And France is still asking countries to pay for what it gave them. When Haiti gained independence, France was there at its doorstep with a warship in the sea, telling Haiti that it must pay for what it gave them, or it will simply invade and take over again. So for all these free things, we will give away our freedom, and it will make it easy for them to identify us, make it easy for them to catch us when you try to run away, like the Mama tried to run away, and that's when they reintroduced the Kipande system. Remember Maziwa ya Nyayo, again dispersing benefits, but at what cost? Our freedom. Right now it's universal healthcare, housing, so many other things. And what is the cost? Our freedom. They say don't throw away the ID, it's still necessary for verification processes. Once verification is over, the Huduma number is the only number that you will need. Without it, you will not be able to access any government services that require identification. Similarly, you cannot access some government services without an ID. There's another threat that it's usually in the Bible, that if you don't have the mark of the beast, then you won't access services and you won't make purchases. You will be thrown out of the economic system. Sounds like this one, doesn't it? So anyway, we had the national identity card, the KRA PIN number, the driving license, the passport, and all these documents were recorded in different databases. They say that the Huduma number consolidates the information to arrive at a single source of truth. But let me ask, if there's a problem with my, let's say, somebody altered my Huduma number, there has to be a system of recognizing who entered that entry. There has to be a number, perhaps a serial number, something that identifies the clerk who did that transaction. Same thing with the driving license. So at any given point, the Huduma number, yes, is still useful, but there'll still be some numbers, some localized numbers at KRA, at immigration office, at NSSF, at NHIF, for their own purposes. So that I don't think will go away. So why introduce a new system if that one won't go away? Is this thing a good idea? What happens if something happens to that database? Like stuff happens to M-Pesa, like M-Pesa goes offline. So you're driving, the cop catches you, and then he asks for your Huduma number, he takes that card, perhaps you have a card, but the system is down. So what good will that number be to him? right? Your driving license has some history behind it, I'm thinking. Or let me go to the passport. The passport has some difference behind it, right? Some history. Anyway, I'm just saying, your NHIF card, yes, you have that. There's usually some history to something. It can't just be like that. What if someone deletes all the captured biometric and other information from birth to death? Can the government erase you? Can someone well connected erase himself when perhaps he's being sought after because of corruption or other things? If there's one central point, can you erase somebody from the system? If there's one central point, can somebody who wants to hide erase himself if well connected? Perhaps the billionaire who's on the run because of the KEBS stickers. Their system, it will help, they say that it will help check unwanted entry into the country by foreigners or by terrorists, right? So how will it help? Will it close the border? Will it urge terrorists not to terrorize? Will it counter jihadi ideology? How will it help? It also hopes that the number would aid in combating fraud. Like, you know, technology helped when it came to NTSA car registration or the IFMI system. Of course, there are some benefits that come with some centralized location. But these things that they're selling us, that it will do all of these magical things, perhaps it won't. For example, will it solve the problems that we have? Let's say within the rural areas, estimated rates of birth and death registration are at 63% and 45% respectively. 60% of births occur in institutions. 20% of deaths occur in institutions. So many people are giving birth, but they're not giving birth in hospitals, and they're not registering. So will this system solve that? How will it do that? When the problem is perhaps those guys are in remote areas and the resources over there are not available. Perhaps if you made resources available there for the current system, we won't need a new ID system. So anyway, just in closing, like the Kipande system was different from the ID system, this one is also different from the ID system. And like the Kipande system was unnecessary, this one is also unnecessary. The idea behind the Kipande system and in this one is to give the government more control. But the government will always give reasons for why it needs more control. Example, security. A decentralized identification system is the answer to our woes, not a universal system. Locally, a system of dual sovereignty is the answer, where the county protects my rights and the national government protects my rights, where the county government is equal to the national government, but they have different functions. And it's better that we have a more localized identification system like our ancestors had than if we have a centralized one. And if the government needs data for a specific person, or if somebody commits a crime across counties, then the central government should take part and play its role in that case. So that's what I had for you today. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all my 1080 subscribers. Please subscribe and share these videos. Do not hide a light where there is darkness. Pray for me that I may not flee for fear of the wolves. Take care. Bye bye.